Hello, YouTubers. This is Bob Hickman. It's so good to be back with you. Well, I tell you, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at some astrological alignments. Things are looking very, very interesting right now. You may remember back when Pope Benedict XVI resigned, I did a video saying that this had very strong prophetic implications. And that I would be watching. And you may remember I said that we'll keep an eye on Pope Francis. Well, I've been watching him, and so far it seems like he's being at least outwardly a decent person, trying to do good. But I'm watching very closely, and I have to tell you, you may not be aware, or maybe you are aware, but on May 25th, which is this upcoming week, Pope Francis is going to make an historic visit to Israel. Now, this is very interesting from an astrological place because on May 25th, we're going to have a moon in Aries. And any of you who know about astrology know that a moon in Aries indicates energies about getting things going. Well, that night on the 25th, the moon moves into Taurus. And Taurus is very much about agreements. It's about solid things. And I have a suspicion that the Pope's trip is going to start to reveal an even greater agenda. It is my belief that the Vatican is going to seek to exert a greater control over Israel. There are prophecies that the Vatican may set up basically a second home in Israel. It's like a second Vatican. And looking at the astrological alignments, it certainly would indicate, from an astrology viewpoint, that there are things in motion that would tend to lend credibility to those statements. And I tell you, I'm watching. Some people believe that there will come a man who will be a false prophet, who will try to exert control over Israel, and will lead Israel into a situation that will put it in a very precarious position. And there will be a rise of another man known as the Antichrist. So there will be the false prophet and the Antichrist. This is biblical prophecy, which I do study. I do think there's something to it. Nostradamus and other great seers throughout the ages have talked about these times, and that they would lead to precarious situations. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but as you know, I do believe in watching the signs. And looking at the transit of the moon during this visit, I would not be surprised if we hear some major announcements coming out of Israel from the Vatican or the Pope's office while there. I believe they are going to solidify an agreement to basically set up a larger Vatican encampment in Israel. I do believe that the Pope would like to gain control over the city of Jerusalem. And should this start to unfold, this will match prophecies that have been predicted thousands of years ago about the coming days of the history of the world. So I'm going to ask all of us to reflectively, not with panic, but let's pay close attention to what comes out of this papal visit. There is speculation that the false prophet will be endangered at some point. There's speculation that there may be an attempt on his life. Interestingly, Pope Francis has made a statement that he does not wish to have any bulletproof automobiles. Israel is very disturbed by this because there have been a number of open death threats against the Pope, that should he visit, he will be attacked. The Pope's entourage and security are not pleased either. They're asking him to please use the bulletproof automobiles, but he's so far refusing. So there could be danger for the Pope around this trip. As I said, Aries energy is very much about everything happening very quickly. And Taurus is very earth energy. So whether there is actually an attempt or not, I still believe no matter how the trip turns out, we're going to see some very big steps occur very rapidly in connection to the Vatican in relation to the state of Israel, particularly in the area of Jerusalem. So I'm going to ask you guys, let's just watch and see what happens. But remember, you heard it here, that I'm watching, and don't be surprised when things start to happen. By the way, speaking of watching, I am wearing today my all-seeing eye pendant, and that's keeping me tuned in to what is happening. I don't know if you guys can see that. Check that out. Isn't that kind of cool? So I'm going to wear my pendant. I'm going to be on watch. I am on Prophecy Watch. So join me on Prophecy Watch. Listen, guys, I also want to say thank you for coming out to my recent video. You guys are wonderful. A lot of you have been asking about messages from the spirit world. And I've taken a little break from that because I've been getting over being sick. But I'm feeling pretty strong. And I think this weekend we're going to have messages from the spirit world. So be back here. I'm going to try to get it out on Friday, depending on how my schedule is. Could be Saturday. But let's look for it on Friday, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so we are going to get back to messages from the spirit world. So don't worry, I didn't forget you guys, okay? But anyways, let's be watching, and let's see what happens in Israel with Pope Francis. Thanks for being here, guys. We'll see you back here on Friday. Blessings to all of you.